Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about near future tense in French or le futur proche, and this is lesson 9. So we're going to memorize the formula for futur proche today, and we're going to apply it to French context when writing and or speaking. And our goal by the end of this video is to be able to use futur proche when writing and speaking. Partie 1 à la formule. So this is a formula for the futur proche, and it consists of aller au présent de l'indicatif and le verb infinitif. So it can basically infinitive verbs are ones that end with er, ir, or re. And when I'm talking about the indicative present tense is because we have lots of present tenses in French or in languages in general. So at this time, we're talking about um, the indicative one. So don't use the other ones because there are also other types. But you might not know that by now, especially if you're at this level of just learning le futur proche. So at this point, all you need to know is the present tense of aller and the infinitive of the verb you want to use. So I'm going to do an example with manger, and just as a refresher, aller means to go. So when we're talking about near future tense, we're talking about I am going to whatever. So if I'm talking about a future tense where it's not so near, then that's going to be futur simple, and we're going to be talking about that in a future video. So for now, the near future tense is le futur proche, and in order to say that in French, you need the verb to go, which is aller. So to conjugate aller in the present tense, for je, it would be je vais, and then tu vas with an S, il, elle, on, qui va, nous allons, vous allez, ils, elles vont. And then for the second verb you're going to use, it's going to be in the infinitive. A rule in French is whenever you have two verbs side by side, the first one is going to be conjugated and the second one is going to be in the infinitive form, meaning it's not going to be conjugated. So it's pretty easy. Manger, it means to eat, and as you can see, ends with an E, and we're not going to conjugate it. Another note I want to have is we never use J apostrophe in futur proche because V starts with a V and V is a consonant. So we don't need an apostrophe for je when we have a V or a consonant after it. So it's always going to be je vais. And so here's an opportunity for you to practice. You can practice with any verbs. Again, it's pretty easy, so that's why I'm not going to be writing this I'm not going to have any answers in the description box because I don't know which verbs you're going to be using. But all you need to do is literally copy this down, memorize it, and then add on the infinitive of the verb you want to use. So I gave some examples you can use with chanter, jouer, faire, finir, choisir, être, and avoir. And as you can see, I highlighted être and avoir because you can definitely use être and avoir for futur proche. It's just that you need to kind of make the sentence make sense. You can't just have je vais être. That means I am going to be. And the sentence is incomplete. So you're going to be what, right? Or je vais avoir. What are you going to have? Partie 1B. So this is part 1B, and it's le futur proche avec le verbe aller. So we're also allowed to use the verb aller itself in futur proche, even though it's conjugated first. So if we look here, je vais, tu vas, il, elle, on, qui va, nous allons, vous allez, ils, elles vont. We're still going to be, if we want to use the verb to go, aller, we're still going to use it. So je vais aller, I am going to go. Tu vas aller, you are going to go. Il va aller, he is going to go. Elle va aller, she is going to go. On va aller, one is going to go. Qui va aller, who is going to go. And then you usually have like a question mark. Nous allons aller, we are going to go. Vous allez aller, you all are going to go. Or you are going to go if you want to be polite. And ils, elles vont aller, they are going to go. So as you can see, you can definitely use the verb aller to go in futur proche as well. And here you can practice, make a complete sentence with context using le futur proche. So my example is je vais manger à 16h. Okay, so I'm going to eat at 4 o'clock is my example. Next is partie 2 des verbes avec se. So these are verbs that are called les verbes pronominaux ou réfléchis. And we haven't talked about these yet, but we will in lesson 11. I just included them here in case you know it and you want to work with le futur proche in les verbes pronominaux ou réfléchis. But subscribe and stay tuned for lesson 11, and we're going to be talking about these in detail in that lesson. For now, in case you know it, here you go. If you don't know it, then you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to get confused. Just focus on part 1. So for verbs that are reflexive, they're verbs that you do to yourself. So for example, l'infinitif de verbe avec se est modifié. So again, these are verbs you do to yourself, and the infinitive of these verbs are modified. So say you have like the verbs se laver or se préparer or se lever or s'asseoir. These are all reflexive verbs, ou le verbe pronominal ou le verbe réfléchi. So if I'm saying je vais me laver, so as you can see, the se is changed into me. So even though we talked about we're not going to conjugate the second verb in le futur proche, we're still going to modify and change the se part. So, je vais me laver. Tu vas te préparer. Nous allons nous lever. Vous allez vous asseoir. So in this case, all of the se's are conjugated or modified to meet and match the subject pronoun. And we're going to talk about, like I said, about these verbs later on. So if you're wondering where does me come from and to, and how do we get from se to nous or from se s apostrophe to vous, we're going to talk about these soon. So stay tuned and subscribe. Hopefully this video was helpful. And like I said, I'm not going to be putting any answers to the practice questions in the description box because there's really no need to. It's pretty easy. Just copy je vais, tu vas, or whatever subject pronoun you want to use, conjugate the aller to it, and then attach your infinitive. And if you want to go a little ahead, you can also add a context to it and advance your sentences. So thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next one.